Apparently, online marijuana shops make it easy for minors to buy weed, a study finds. That's right. Many online marijuana dispensaries do not enforce age limits on purchases, and they have other lax policies that enable minors to buy cannabis on the internet, according to a new study published on Monday in the Journal of American Medical Association Pediatrics. The research examined the age verification processes and other practices of 80 online dispensaries based in 32 states that sell marijuana to American customers. The study found that 18.8% of dispensaries, or nearly 1 in 5, required no formal age verification at any stage of the purchasing process, and that more than 80% accepted non-traceable payment methods like prepaid credit cards or cash, thus enabling youth to hide their transactions, the authors noted. Of the dispensaries studied, nearly 1/3 allowed delivery across state lines, and of those 95% offered delivery to states with marijuana laws different from the home state of the online dispensary. 5% of the dispensaries provided student discounts. Health officials have expressed concerns about the effects of marijuana use on the developing brain, particularly in the era of increased drug potency and widespread legalization. They make it sound like such a bad thing. According to a 2022 survey funded by the National Institute of Health, 6.3% of 12th graders reported using cannabis daily in 2021, as did 2.1% of 10th graders and 0.7% of 8th graders. About 1/3 of high school seniors had used marijuana at least once in 2021, along with 20% of 10th graders and 8.3% of 8th graders. The use of marijuana in these age groups fell during the pandemic. One theory is that young people had a harder time obtaining drugs, including marijuana, and consuming them outside supervision. And I don't buy that one personally. I'm not buying that one. I'm just willing to bet that they couldn't get enough students to participate in their survey for them to get these kind of results. But nonetheless, online marijuana sales and the ease of shipping would seem to make it easier for minors to access the drug, the study authors noted. And they say, in a quote, "It is imperative," they wrote in their conclusion, "to require strict age verification procedures prior to cannabis purchases online, and to establish stringent surveillance of online marijuana dispensaries to protect youth." In the interim, they added, "Pediatricians and caregivers must be aware of the widespread availability of online dispensaries and the potential dissemination of marijuana to minors." Well, what do you guys think about this? This is Jason Beck for the High at 9 News Hour. And apparently, online retailers are selling to minors. What do you guys think about this?
It's got to be some kind of internet security. I mean, it's got to be.
Hold on, Todd.
Why wouldn't they use it?
Hold
Who
on.
are these people? Who are these amazing online dispensaries shipping cannabis across state lines to people?
I don't know. I want to find out too who's shipping weed across state lines. I wonder if they're trying.
These
buy
are
it online.
unregulated. They're not.
How do you know
They're
that?
not regulated
You don't know that.
dispensaries. These are all illegal operations.
You don't know that.
No. Yeah, I do know that.
It doesn't specify that in the study.
So the thing is, yeah, okay. So just like New York City, people who aren't informed enough go to New York City and they walk down the street and they walk into a smoke shop and they're like, "Oh, I went to a dispensary today."
Sure.
So
yeah, I understand
the
that.
thing is, the uninformed or young consumer online is going on these online dispensaries and thinking that they're legal operations. And I don't think that a dispensary would go through all the trouble of getting a license to be in operation and be regulated, pay all the money that they got to pay to stay regulated in the legal space, and then ship weed over state lines and
Well,
ship
hold on.
weed
Hold on.
to minors
Nicole,
in
Nicole,
Nevada, you can
Nicole,
get it shipped to you.
Nicole, this might not
Nicole.
be a dispensary. This just might be a delivery license that is operating in this manner. It doesn't specify that it's a dispensary. And
Well, my question is also, is this Delta 8 they're referring to?
it does not specify in anywhere in the article in regards to that, and I don't think it's Delta 8. I think this actually is actually weed. I was going to think maybe possibly they could be talking about THCA, but I'm willing to bet that they did a study of all these different online delivery things, and then they went and did studies to buy, or cases to buy, whatever, and we're successful in some and we're unsuccessful in others, because I do know Weed Maps was under a big thing for a while with the state of California in regards, because there were a number of minors that were able to purchase cannabis legally off of their website through actual deliveries and dispensaries, because there weren't the proper protocols in place of enforcement. And so therefore there were a lot of kids that were using their parents' accounts, so then that way they could purchase the cannabis with their parents' account on their parents' credit card, and they'd just get it delivered to their door.
Guess it's time to talk about parenting skills then, right?
I mean, that's where I think it ultimately
Right.
falls
But
on.
then it
A
said-
friend of mine in
then
Florida.
it said that it was used.
What's that,
Nicole?
Nicole? What's that, Nicole?
No, go ahead, Nicole.
The article said something about using prepaid cards to hide their transactions is what
Yeah.
they found out that they were doing, right?
Just kids being smart.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
kids
but-
being smart. Yeah, I mean, I
Right.
use a prepaid card all the time for different transactions. I mean, I haven't had a credit card in years. I always use prepaid cards.
It's not just kids that are getting stuff online. A friend of mine in Florida called me yesterday and said her stepfather was needed some weed, and he doesn't have his medical card in Florida, so he just went online, ordered some from Oklahoma, like
See?
it was nothing. You know?
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? And you're trying to say that these are all licensed businesses. I think they may be.
Well,
I think it's way too risky for the
they
license.
very-
Well,
for the
I mean, we
license.
covered a story where there was a guy that had a dispensary in Vermont, and he was selling to people in New York, and he didn't even face any repercussions from the state.
All right, people. I did, my usual actual research.
Amazing. That's what we love, Gretchen.
Takes 5 seconds, Jason Beck, to actually look at the report.
Mm-hmm. What?
94% of the product that they're looking at were edibles.
Look at that.
94%.
All gummies, huh?
Yeah, they're easier to hide. You them in your lunchbox.
And then they're also looking at e-cigarettes. So I guess vape product? Unclear.
Mm-hmm.
Then it says medical formulations.
Medical formulations, that would probably be concentrates, or it could be vape carts also. Or maybe a tincture. But I don't think
said
kids are...
They went through 80 online marijuana dispensaries based in 32 states.
Mm-hmm. See? Look at that. And it doesn't state whether or not they're permitted or
But
licensed.
They don't fucking know if these people are legal.
Of course they don't.
Guys, are we really
Just
debating
saying.
this? We know what they're selling. We know the shit they're selling. Selling gas station CBD and THC products. That's
No,
what
no,
it is.
I don't believe this. I believe that
28
these...
California operations.
Yeah, I believe that these are all selling real weed. I'm not buying that it's Delta 8. I'm not buying that for a second.
It's gonna be Delta 9 converted from CBD. This is what it is. This is the majority of the market. Did you not listen? Did you not hear about that? Didn't we cover this Missouri operator that got shut down?
We
because they had
cover, yes.
Delta 8 products in their cannabis products. It's because they bought Delta 8 oil
Both of
from
these are
somebody.
California, New York.
They bought that red disty, huh?
They bought that candy red disty.
Yeah, that candy. That's man.
It really pays to know your shit, people.
Mhm.
That's all I know.
Yeah, see, look at
If
even
you look in the chat,
even the chat,
look
yeah.
in the YouTube chat.
yeah.
yeah.
Christine Scaffalini
Morning.
says, "Good morning. We just bought weed online last night." See?
Right.
Ask a question, Jason Beck. Was this actual weed? Or
Was
is this
what?
weed?
Yeah. Christine,
The flower
throw
is
in the
probably
chat.
weed,
Throw
but the
in
oil-
the chat. Let us know if it was actual weed, if it was
What was the
THCA,
product?
Delta 8, what was the product, and whether or not you are aware if it was a licensed dispensary or not. We would love to know that.
She's correcting her last name, Sclafani.
Oh, Scilafani, sorry. I thought
There's
I really.
no actual information in the report about if
Oh,
these are
she bought.
percent
licensed
THC.
Yeah,
operations
she
or
bought.
not.
She
That's
bought.
hemp.
She bought some Delta 8 products. She bought some Delta 8 products. This is not real THC. Yes.
I mean, if it's oil, if it's in a formulation, I think it's without a doubt probably converted, oil. If it's flour, I mean, it could go either way. I
Mhm.
guess
The
there's a lot.
and I'm sorry to interrupt you, Saman.
No,
How the researchers did this is they went onto Google and their search terms were buy marijuana online, buy weed online, order weed, buy pot online, keef online, and ganja online. That's
They
what
bought
these guys
keef?
put in.
Who still sells
They
keef?
put the, I'm
There-
just saying those are the search
Who
items
still
that
buys
these
keef?
researchers
That's the
put in to find these
Correction, thank you
dispensaries.
keyword
so much for
commandos.
the fact.
I have
Okay,
not. I have not seen
so
keef
they did
sold
this
in
research
years.
based on Google searches. Is that
They
correct?
did a Google search. Look, that's how they found the dispensaries. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was ambiguity being unable to continue in the checkout process. This is some bullshit study.
I think.
I'll
I
say
think
that.
you're right, Gretchen. I think you're right.
Shamma.
But I think it does
Come on.
definitely make it easier for kids to procure.
I love how there's a footnote
About the
explaining what a
kids.
selfie is in this.
Oh, there's a
I
footnote
guess.
about selfies, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
What is a selfie?
Yeah.
According to them, is a facial photograph
Aging
taken of
yourself.
oneself, typically with a cell phone.
Man. Well, Christine, I'm sorry that you're having to smoke that hemp flower. Oh man, it must be rough. Must be rough. I'm sorry about that.
Hear ya.
Yeah, man. Oh man. Oh man. What do you? I mean, do you guys think that this is easier for kids to procure if
Both
they're
of the
purchasing
payment
online?
options were cash. It says.
If it's online, it's easier for kids, right? Kids
Yeah, that's what I
living
think, too.
online. Their whole life is there, and once one kid knows about it, they all know about it, right? So,
Yep.
I think
James,
just as
I'm sending you
easy
the
as it
report.
is for them to
Have
walk
Adam
to
post-
bodega city and buy it, just
What?
as easy.
What's that, Nicole?
I think it's just as easy as it is for them to walk into a bodega in New York City and buy it.
Yeah, but that you
There
have
are
to. You,
8,000
it's not as
illegal
easy for kids to get to New York unless they live there, though, Nicole.
well, there's lots of kids in New York.
Understood.
Okay. All right.
Exactly.
All right. All right. All right. What were you saying, Gretchen?
I put the report into the chat for Adam to post to the website if anyone wants to look at the actual report.
Oh, the actual.
It's only
report.
3 pages, so it ain't that much.
So you're saying that stoners have the attention span to be able to digest it.
I'm saying that this is such a piss poor research project that it was only 3 pages. So
You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like the research project of how they banned straws. Another piss poor
What,
research
the poor little
project.
turtle?
Yeah.
I mean, this is all coming from like a research letter. It's barely a report.